Fedor Holtz, who took down poker's online championship last year, is seeking his first live seven-figure score. And Dario Sammartino is spinning it up. The chip leader satellited into this €100,000 event for 10 grand. They all have the skill, stamina, and fortitude to claim the most expensive and illustrious title of Season 11.
Hello and welcome to the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final. This is the final table of a record-breaking super high roller. Let's meet the final 8. Aiming to become #1 on Poland's all-time money list, Dmitry Urbanovic.
Malta was amazing stuff for me. I won 4 tournaments. It was really great time. I was running really well. I hope I can repeat this here at Monte Carlo Grand Final.
He currently sits at #1 on Austria's all-time money list, earning him the nickname from me, the Austrian Bostrian, Thomas Mulacher.
I played 25Ks before and I was always confident that I can beat the fields. It was rumored that this 100K is going to be a good one with a lot of runners, so I took a shot in this one and it's paid out.
He's considered one of poker's old guard, but he continues to make final tables of massive buy-in events like a whippersnapper. Coming to seat 3, poker legend Eric Seidel.
This is very exciting. It's one of the biggest tournaments in the world. It's always exciting to get to this final table. So I'm looking forward to today. It's a really tough lineup.
He is considered to be one of the most analytical minds in the game today, and he is a fantastic hugger. Flying the flag for Russia, Igor Kurganov.
I think that the experience of having been at a few final tables will definitely help me in comparison to some other players. And it's all about keeping your head straight.
The player in seat 5 has already won one of these, no big deal. Max Altergott.
What happened 2 years ago, that all changed my life. The prospect of becoming 2 times a Super High Roller champion is very, very thrilling because no one ever made it before. And so being the first lucky guy is a great feeling.
He claims a super high roller title would be the cherry on top of an awesome year. From Germany, Fedor Holtz.
I've been playing live for over 1.5 years now. I just try to use the extra information you get at the live tables, and I think I'm doing all right at it.
He won his way into this event via live 10K satellite. Doesn't have the pedigree of the rest of this table, but hey, you gotta start somewhere. From Italy, Dario Sammartino.
I am the final table of this important event. I am very happy now, and there is an amazing experience, and I try to win.
Despite the fact that he has once again eked his way into the money with a short stack, he is not in danger. He is the danger. From the United States of America, Scott Seaver.
I'm at another super high roller final table. I've been here before, and hopefully experience will help me try and get a little further ahead.
Add them together and what have you got? These final tablists have combined earnings of almost $55 million. Blinds 20,000, 40,000 with a 5,000 ante, and action is underway at this super high roller final table in Monaco. Action's been folded to Max Altergott. He passes. Fedor Holtz has ace-jack on the button.
Holes.
That's a raise to 85,000.
Yep, sure, yep, fine.
Dario Sammartino's small blind.
Ooh, did you see that look?
Scott Seaver's big blind. Jack 3 of spades, he defends.
This is something the kids are doing these days, calling raises with super short stacks and trying to catch a piece before going all Wilmer, Valder, Jamma.
It's a jack high flop, so top pair for both players. Holtz way ahead with his ace kicker.
This is not the worst flop ever for Scott, but that's kind of like saying Police Academy 5 isn't the worst Police Academy. At that point, they're all pretty equally bad.
Holtz set to continue.
All in. Call.
Scott Seaver check raises all in and gets snap called. And Seaver, the short stack at this final table at risk, drawing to 3 cards. Needs to see a 3 on the river.
If not, ace-jack holes.
It's a deuce.
Black has. Good game, Scott.
Seaver out in 8th.
Black arrow. Will be missed. I'm sure.
By me at least.
Yeah.
I mean it.
Yeah.
Holtz up over 2 million in chips.
More like fadorable, am I right? What's this kid's curfew, huh? What's your cure for you little cutie pie?
Scott Seaver was in for 2 bullets. He cashes for nearly 262k, more than 2 million up top for the eventual champ.
The only other player in for 2 buy-ins, Max Altergott. Max Altergott.
Urbanovic with aces in the small blind, and he completes. Queen 9 suited for Mulaka in the big. He checks his option.
Getting limpy with aces, all right.
And he flops a set. Bottom pair for Mulaka.
That's so hard to get paid on a set of aces. Luckily, Mulaka does have a piece.
Urbanovic bets 65,000.
He's doing a really good job, I think, of playing this weird and finding a creative way to get paid.
Gets a call from the Austrian. The turn card is a queen, 2 pair for Mulaka, but he's officially drawing dead.
That is a very terrible thing that just happened to Thomas Mulaka. Improving to dead.
Urbanovic now checks. Mulaka's set to take over the betting. 105,000.
Urbanovic is playing this perfectly, feels like, and I think he knows Thomas is going to be pretty strong here a lot of the time.
Urbanovic, the effective stack here.
All in.
He check raises all in.
Great shove.
Mulaka calls, and that means Urbanovic has just doubled up.
Mulaka, hurt locker. Now let's just go through the formality, dealing the cards, make sure there's no rules to bridge stuck in there somewhere, lol.
Urbanovic bought in at the start of day 2. Good fortune still with him after that sensational run he went on in Malta, setting a new record on the EPT.
Mulaka so upset he's stuck in permanent duck face.
Among Urbanovic's supporters today, his fellow countryman Piotr Franczak. He was the bubble boy in this super high roller, eliminated in particularly cruel fashion. With 10 players left, Franczak was all in with aces against Vladimir Troinovsky's 3s. Vlad turned a set to KO Franczak and put everyone else in the money. A few hands later, it was Troinovsky's turn to find aces against Igor Kurganov's kings. This time it was Kurganov who turned a set, eliminating the Russian and leaving us with our official final table. Well, Kurganov started the day just behind Dario Sammartino. He has now taken the chip lead with a 94 big blind stack. Mulaka is at the bottom end of the leaderboard. He's in the danger zone.
Danger zone!
Blinds are 30,000, 60,000 with a 10,000 ante. Action folded around to Kurgels, who's got ace-9 in the cutoff. And this is a raise to 135,000. King-Jack for Fedor Holtz.
And he is super short.
All in.
He shoves for 15 big blinds.
Count, please. How much, Peter?
A little bit less than 800.
Okay. Okay. What does it mean, okay? Can still be good. What does it mean? Okay.
He's Fedor. You don't have to talk to him like he's Hodor.
Kurganov calls, putting Holtz at risk.
Fedor was ahead of Igor's range. Igor was ahead of Fedor's. Let's see what happens.
Holtz has 42% equity, a 42% chance of survival. Well, he pairs his king, but Kurganov pairs his ace. Holtz still has 9 outs. Kings, queens, and jacks all working for him. Well, that ace reduces his outs to 4 queens.
You see it before me, right?
A little bit.
It's a 7. Holtz is eliminated.
His face is grass.
Really good game. Well done. Good luck, Bishop.
Chip the chips to the artist formerly known as Igor Kurganov. Game blouses.
Fedor Holtz cashes for 337,500 euros, his 7th place finish.
He's a W Coupe main event champion. We don't need security to escort him out. Go.
Igor Kurganov now playing a stack of close to 6.4 million.
Do you think if he wins, he's going to go out and get a little red Corvette?
I think that the experience of having been at a few final tables will definitely help me in comparison to some other players to date, because we are now playing for a very good chunk of money, and any spot matters, and to one it will matter more than to the other, and it's all about keeping your head straight. If I win this would be my biggest cash of my career and would take me over the 10 million in tournament winnings, which would be great, of course. But there are still many more years to come, and let's see where it gets us. If I win this, or if I get second or third, I have made a bet with a friend of mine. We have decided in between us that whoever gets top 3 will host a boat party with a DJ and everything here in Monaco, because he knows a friend who has a boat. And that's going to be definitely a great way to celebrate.
Celebrate as in party like it's 1999?
Blinds now 40-80. Why do I feel that you've got a ton of Prince references up your sleeve?
I may have just burned them all. We got a few more. Just hang tight.
Fold it around to the blinds.
How much play? 6.25.
With Thomas's size stack, you're going to be shoving almost all of your hands.
All in.
Urbanovic does shove on Mulaka.
Call.
Who's got a legitimate hand? Ace-Jack.
Well, that was an easy one. Will say, though, when you lose Ace-Jack to live cards, it does really, really hurt.
And Urbanovic does have live cards. He's still got 39%. And he's paired his 3 on the flop.
Nah, good game, Thomas.
Mulaka's now the player who needs to hit. And he needs to hit on the river.
Oh, these are so frustrating.
Only an ace or a jack saves him. Six outs for the Austrian. And that isn't one of them.
Okay.
Thomas Mulaka eliminated in 6th place for 427,100 euros. Urbanovic did most of the damage with that set of aces. And then he finished him off.
Still not a bad finish for the Austrian Bostrian. Unfortunately, he's been sacked.
So 5 players remain. Seidel the shortest stat with 22 big blinds. Kurganov still chip leader with 79 big blinds. And we're still playing 40-80. Darius Sammartino has a deuce. We know that much.
Ooh, I like this. A little guessy guess. I'm going to say the other card is the 2 of clubs.
Sammartino has opened with a raise to 160,000. 8-9 suited for Dmitry Urbanovic in the cutoff. Urbanovic aiming to go to number 1 on Poland's all-time money list. He gets there with a top 2 finish.
Darius Sammartino, brooding.
Urbanovic is re-raising. It's a 3-bet to 365,000. Hold it around to Kurganov, who's got 7-6 suited.
Very similar hand to Urbanovic, and it looks like he may be up to something similar himself.
The chip leader getting frisky.
Getting funky with his chicken and loose with his goose.
755,000, a cold 4-bet from Kurganov.
And whatever that other card is, Dario cannot be liking this spot. Surely he's just giving it a minute so people don't think he's opening too light. He's looking real good while he does it though, huh?
There's the fold. How does Urbanovic respond?
All in.
He 5-bet shoves.
Oh, mama. It's Urbanovic who pushes the hardest.
And Kurganov folds.
Gonna have to give up a couple of those purple rain chips. To the world's youngest 1970s San Francisco police captain.
Well, there are plenty of Urbanovic fans on the rail today, including a poker-playing musician.
We're railing for our friend who's sitting on the final table right now, Dmitry Urbanovic. We call him Dima. That's his like shorter version of his name. So yeah, he's the first Polish player ever in a 100K super high roller. So we're like super excited about it. Fingers crossed for Dima, and he's a very good player. You know, he killed Malta. So yeah, he's great. He's running great, and he's just an awesome kid. He's 19-year-old. Come on.
Waz gave me a free copy of his band's album. They're called Afromental, and the story checks out.
Action folded to Urbanovic in the small blind, ace-3, and he shoves on Eric Seidel.
Call.
Seidel calls with ace-queen.
Nice call, Eric. Oh, Dell.
He's a 72% favorite to double up through Urbanovic.
Standard is as standard does. Deal the flop, Jenny.
2 pair for Seidel. Now a 4-1 favorite to get the full double up. The turn card is a deuce. That means Seidel is safe. Urbanovic cannot win this pot outright. And no chop card on the river. So Seidel does double up to 2.1 million.
Double up, double up.
And Urbanovic is now the short stack.
And I am just sick and tired of Eric Seidel's over-celebrations. Unbelievable.
Now, the super high roller may be out of your budget, but every EPT festival caters to players of every bankroll. So come and join the fun. And of course, you can satellite into a main event with qualifiers running every day on pokerstars.com.
Big-time celebrities on the rail.
Wish I was there. So sad.
I'm always confused whenever I see Jason Kuhn and he's not at the gym.
Blinds are up to 50,000, 100,000 with a 10,000 ante. Actions on Eric Seidel. He passes. 8-7 off for Igor Kurganov. This is a raise from the chip leader to 210,000. It's Dmitry Urbanovic's big blind, and he defends with Jack-9 off.
You know, for a guy that wins a lot of poker, Urbanovic sure looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. Typical angsty teenager.
Wow, Urbanovic flops the joint. Bottom pair for Kurganov.
8, 9, Jack, Queen, 10. Straight, yes, that is a straight.
Action goes check, check. King on the turn means that Urbanovic now has a lock on the hand.
Deception pot control on the flop. Deception pot control on the turn.
Oh, another 8 on the river. Kurganov now with trips.
This is almost certainly going to get Urbanovic paid. Last train to Valuetown.
325k. And Kurganov calls.
Straight into my chip stack is where your money's going.
Urbanovic up to 2.4 million. Kurganov down to 7 million.
Still 5 players left? It's like these guys are playing for millions of euros or something.
Kurganov still chip leader. Urbanovic third in chips. Seidel back to being the low man at the table. 16 big blinds.
Dell.
Dario Sammartino passes. Urbanovic with ace-9 in the cutoff.
Is that a smile? What is that? What's that mouth thing he's doing?
Max Altegot going for his second Monaco Super High Roller title. 10-6 in the big blind.
People be defending mad loose these days.
Yeah, he calls Urbanovic's raise, heads up to the flop. Jack, deuce, deuce, ace high still ahead.
Acts with nothing.
He checks. Urbanovic continues for 110,000.
Urbanovic knows Max is going to almost always have missed this. Dancing Rob.
Altegot Attempting a steal, check raising to 325k.
Now what's he doing with his mouth? What is this? What does that mean?
It means he's drinking coffee. Noisily.
Why is he doing it like that? Wow, this kid just wants to win every pot.
Well, strictly speaking, he does have the best hand.
Oh, come on.
He re-raises to 555,000.
And again, this is probably going to work, but what's he going to do when someone actually has a hand? Does he just have crazy good espresso reads?
Double shot. All to Gottwald.
Yeah, no, Max, it's weird, isn't it? Feels weird.
Abanovic's stack has been doing some yo-yoing today. Right now he's playing 3.7 million. He is second in chips at this final table.
Malta was amazing stuff for me. I won 4 tournaments and made some more final tables. It was really great time. So I hope I can repeat this here at Monte Carlo. So if I win, I'll be the first on the Polish all-time money list. Dominik Pańka will be second, but we are friends. So I don't think he will be feeling bad about that. If I win today, I'm not going to celebrate. Just jump straight to the main or some other state events. Fighting for a leaderboard player of the year of EPT, so I have no time to celebrate at the moment.
I have no time to celebrate, said no 19-year-old ever.
I actually don't think there is.
Blinds are still 50-100. Ace-8 for Kurganov in the cutoff.
We raised Ace-7. He's probably going to raise Ace-8.
225k. Round to Abanovic in the big blind. 6-4 suited, and he defends.
Though it makes a little more sense than 10-6.
And he flops trip 4s.
I didn't think Urbanovic was really even running particularly well, and then there's this.
He's playing in flow. He checks to the razor. Kurganov continues for 250,000.
Let's see how he plays this one. Will he start sucking down a cup of soup? Maybe drink from one of those hamster water bottles with the ball in the tip?
Again with the aggression, a check raise to 655,000.
Igor, buddy, you've got ace. Okay.
He's called with less than 1% equity. Well, that's a full house for Abanovic. And he took the betting lead on the flop. So he will fire on the turn by the looks of things.
Oh boy. That's okay, Igor's gonna fold now, surely.
880,000. Nearly half the pot.
Sick thing for Igor is that he knows there are very few hands Dmitry can actually bet this much for value. Also, there are more chips in the middle than Seidel, San Martino, and Aldergott each have.
An astute observation.
And it's probably going to be more than some of them combined.
Well, Kurganov has counted out the call. And once again, he calls with just ace high.
You heard of The Walking Dead? Igor Kurganov is the calling dead.
Ugh, and he pairs his ace on the river.
Dmitry running well isn't nearly as important as his opponent's running worse. Another terrible, good-looking card for his opponent.
3.6 million in the middle. How much will Abanovic value bet?
He could certainly go for all of it if he wanted to. Oh, never mind, there's the rest.
1,725,000.
That's half his remaining stack.
It's a sizable bet.
No coffee right now? Nothing to hide, huh?
Wow, Igor's a smart dude. Maybe he gets away from this.
This is the spot for the move, by the way. Am I really thinking with trips here? I don't know. That'd be silly, right?
Igor messing around a little. Maybe try to see if a shove would get a fold. It won't.
Kurganov does not get away from it. He calls.
Paid off. Paid off like a Swiss soccer official.
And a pot of 7 million slides across to the chocolate-chomping Dmitry Urbanovich, who's now the chip leader with more than 8.7 million.
I think I liked him better when he didn't smile. It's like that candy bar is full of nuts and smug.
Urbanovich now a commanding favorite with an 87 big blind stack. Kurganov second in chips with 33 bigs. Sammartino and Seidel have fewer than 20 big blinds each. Urbanovich, ace-queen in the cutoff. He raises. Kurganov's in the small blind. He's got pocket sixes.
And remember, he's got 33 big blinds. No reason to get nuts here. I'm sure he just wants to see a flop, despite the fact he's probably at least a little tilted.
That's gruesome. That's a call. Max Altergott in the big blind has 8-9 suited, and he calls as well.
Everyone except one usually in a hand. The one who loses it. Folders are good.
Top two for Urbanovich. Kurganov checks with just a pair of sixes. Altergott's flop bottom pair. He checks as well.
Both Max and Igor have what will sometimes be the best hand, but I don't imagine either one is going to put up much of a stink here.
Urbanovich continues for 345,000, gets two quick folds.
Okay, so the kid is running pretty good.
He extends his chip lead. He's up to 9.1 million now. And here comes Miss Olivia Barry.
Ah, it's the Poker Widowers Club.
What? It's funny that those two.
It's always nice when Gabby and Igor's girlfriend stop by.
Dario's a bit busy right now playing poker. He'll get back to you.
Apparently there was a third lady on the rail.
So the blinds are up. Urbanovich has raised under the gun with tens. Kurganov's got ace-queen on the button.
All in.
And he moves all in.
Definitely a more standard spot to get it in with slightly less chips.
Urbanovich calls and we're off to the races.
Like Sign of the Times versus Purple Rain, one of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Kurganov the player at risk. Kurganov the player who needs to hit.
Liv, he wants you to bring him his raspberry beret. Stat.
Everybody. Woo! Hey. Hey. Hey.
Well, this is awkward.
Oh, he's calling for an ace.
Hey.
And he gets one.
Now a queen of clubs for suspense.
Real lovable guy, that Igor, even when he's doubling through you with millions on the line.
The turn card is a 10.
No suspense.
It's like he knew.
Now Kurganov needs a king.
Kappa.
Kappa, PJ Salt.
One more time.
He's out in fifth.
All right.
Kicking. Okay.
Okay.
So this is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Well, one of us had to go.
The former chip leader cashes for 551,000 euros. The current chip leader now has close to 11 million chips.
I played in general very well, except for against Dimitri. I couldn't figure him out fully towards the end. He made like one 4-bit against him when he hopefully had it, and one time I called him down light. Like the river is pretty standard, but flop and turn are light, and he had it. I mean, he's very young. He's just going after so many situations, and you generally have a different style when you're this young, and then you put yourself in more often in a position where you will end up winning something, actually, and that is what he's been doing.
Igor, he didn't have it the first time. I'm sorry. Darling Nikki.
No.
Don't be so defeatist, Eric. You've still got 3 million chips. Ace king for Sammartino in the small.
All in.
He shoves. Urbanovic has ace queen and he calls.
Are we finally going to see someone take some chips off Dmitry Urbanovic?
Ace king.
Good luck.
You too.
Sammartino, a 68% favorite. There are some opportunities with that paired flop.
Oh, hell yeah, there are.
The turn card is a diamond. Urbanovic with the nut flush draw.
Yeah, Dario, that's not good news.
And another diamond on the river.
Oh, man, run better, Urbanovic.
Darius Sammartino out in fourth.
Unlucky.
Good game.
It's a tough one. Nice play with the diamond.
Disappointing finish for Sammartino, but the guy was on a wicked spin up. If you count what he saved in the buy-in, he had like an 800K score.
Heads up with you?
Well, I hope. You know, I'm very decent at deep heads up. I'm very decent at short stack heads up. I mean, it would be very optimistic to think that I have still, like, you know, good chances to win. But you never know. You never know.
Deep. You guys, Eric Seidel is still here. Hello. Please tell me you didn't talk about my party in front of him, too.
Seidel's got 3 million, Alter got 1.5 million, Urbanovic 13.3 million chips.
That's a lot. Mm-hmm.
Seidel with queen 5 in the small.
Come on.
Come on.
He shoves and gets called.
2 overs?
Just the one.
Don't make this man dangerous.
Max was shorter than a millennial's attention span. Hashtag no filter.
70% favorite here with pocket 8s.
What happened to the sign? Now he's like Eric Smiledell.
The flop is queen high.
With the flush shot too. Somehow the worst hands are winning, huh? Seems like.
We'll see. This could be the test.
Max is now drawing very thin.
He won this event in season 9. He's going to need an 8 on the river to survive. A 5 seals his fate.
Later.
Good game, Eric. Good game. That was an important one. It was very important. It brought me back to 3.2 million.
Come on, Max. We're werewolves, not swearwolves.
His third place finish gets him 940K as Urbanovic and Seidel go heads up. It's the young buck versus the old stack. They're competing for the biggest super high roller title ever seen on the EPT. They'll join an esteemed group of grand final super high roller winners. Urbanovic has the big chip advantage, but Seidel has a wealth of experience. Let battle commence.
Age versus beauty. Guy who was in Rounders versus guy who was in diapers when Rounders was released.
I've just realized that's not a joke, that's actually a fact.
Yes, unless Dimitri is somehow also a prodigy at pooping. Eric Seidel does have more experience playing live heads up at least, but with a chip disadvantage like this, it's hard to make it count for much.
Blind still 61-20. Seidel raising from the button from the small blind with king 8 suited. Pocket 7s for Urbanovic.
And I'm very interested to see how he plays this. Does he want to play a huge pot with 2 7s? I guess against a 25 big blind stack, you're happy to.
There's the 3-bet. Ivanovic re-raises to 685k.
Doesn't look like Eric's folding.
Does Seidel have the stack to just call here?
I'm sure Ivanovic would be perfectly happy with him putting it in.
Well, Seidel does just call. He'll play the flop in position.
Yeah, the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, you're good.
No king or 8 on the flop. Ivanovic still ahead. He checks.
Sure, he's fine with getting the showdown at this point.
Seidel checks behind and picks up a ton of equity on the turn.
Yeah, look.
He now has an open-ended straight draw and a flush draw.
Tough to bet this board for value, but he may want to charge Seidel to draw.
1.4 million in the middle. Ivanovic bets 675k.
And Eric does have draws. He's got draws up the wazoo.
Come on.
He shoves.
Hold on.
And Ivanovic folds.
Okay, so round 1 goes to experience.
Seidel now playing around 4.5 million. As the blinds go up, 80, 160 with a 20k ante. Seidel raises with king 10 off. A6 of clubs for Ivanovic.
2 extremely playable hands heads up.
Ivanovic just calls. The flop is king high, top pair for Seidel.
And just look how Eric Seidel's experience helps him here, flopping top pair. See?
Action check to Seidel. He continues for 400,000.
Urbanovic, aren't you a tenacious monkey?
Well, he has been aggression, aggression, aggression at this final table, and he's not taking his foot off the pedal. 925,000, it's a check raise.
Kid literally tries to win every pot. But again, and not sarcastically this time, I don't think he's going to break through Eric's experience. Not this hand, at least.
Seidel calls.
He's going to have to try a lot harder to get this guy to fold top pair.
The turn is the 7 of spades, pairing the board. Urbanovic checks.
Not a lot that was calling the flop that would fold turn, I don't think.
And Seidel checks behind. The river is a jack, so Seidel has a lock on this hand.
And it's not a really bad river for Seidel either. If Dimitri tries to bluff this, especially if it's not a massive bluff, I think it gets snapped off pretty much always.
Well, we've got nearly 2.6 million in the pot. Seidel with 3.4 million behind. And this bluff from Urbanovic is 1.13 million.
Should be a pretty easy call for Eric. Can Eric Seidel really fold top pair here? No, the answer is no.
Seidel calls and wins a huge pot from Urbanovic.
Wow, so round 2 also goes the way of experience. Yikes. And man, oh man, is that gap closing. It's like the Millennium Falcon flying out of that meteor worm's teeth.
Seidel has a second place finish in an EPT Super High Roller. He's looking for his first win in one of our big buy-in events. 58 big blinds, plays 30 big blinds.
He is climbing.
It's Abanovic's button. He's in the small blind. He's got ace-queen. And he raises to 400,000.
Standard.
Seidel has the queen and 7 of strawberries. And that's a call.
Also quite standard.
Good flop for Seidel. Top pair and a flush draw.
Seidel catching some much-needed run good.
Action goes check, check. 2 pair now for Seidel. Top pair for Abanovic.
And Urbanovic's 1 gear is going to hurt him here, methinks.
Action check to him, and here comes the delayed continuation bet. 425,000. Seidel with 95% equity. Check raises to more than $1 million.
Eric raises so infrequently in these spots, it's hard not to instamuck. Unless you have top pair, top kicker, then it's really, really hard to instamuck.
Abanovic mildly perplexed by the raise. He calls. $3 million in the pot, and the river card is the King of Hearts. Second nut flush for Seidel.
Pretty good. You know, Eric was on an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Having said that, I think he should value bet here.
A little bit stringy, but he gets away with it because he's Eric Seidel. Just over half of what was in the middle, 1.6 million.
Urbanovic is used to being the one to apply the pressure. We've seen very few spots where he's been put to a decision with a medium to strong hand.
Do you ever bluff?
What if Eric was just like, maybe? Maybe?
Abanovic has counted out the call. And he makes the call.
He just does not like giving up, and that is 3 for 3 for Eric Seidel. He's heating up.
And with that pot, he takes the chip lead. He now has the advantage over Abanovic. Nearly 10 million for Seidel, 8 million for Abanovic. And when it comes to the game's greats, Eric Seidel has to be in the conversation. He's been playing for almost 30 years. And with nearly $22 million in live earnings, he currently sits in 6th place on the all-time money list. Well, he bubbled this tournament in Season 9. And a few months later, at the start of Season 10, came close to victory in Barcelona. Well, victory and redemption are finally in sight for Seidel. And even if he finishes 2nd here today, he'll move to 3rd place on the all-time money list, overtaking Sam Trickett, Dan Coleman, and Phil Ivey.
Remember the first time you saw Rounders and you were like, oh, that Eric Seidel guy, he must be such a fish. Lol.
Blinds are 120,000, 240,000, with a 30,000 ante. 6-7 of hearts for Seidel. And he calls. Abanovic checks his option with ace-8.
And these two are going heads up to the flop.
Thank you, Joe. 2 pair for Seidel. Abanovic checks.
This looks like a flop where some chips could go in.
Eric bets 250,000. Yeah, Abanovic has an up and down straight draw and a backdoor flush draw.
Well, you can't fold.
He calls. So more than $1 million in the middle as we go to the turn, which is the King of Diamonds. Doesn't change anything.
Boring card.
Abanovic checks for a 2nd time. I think we can expect a 2nd barrel from Mr. Seidel.
Yeah, you should probably keep betting here.
650K.
I know it's going to be tough for Dmitry to take a passive line here since he wants to win every single pot, but some of them he's going to have to win by showing down the best hand. Now, I will often tell people to act like they've been there before, but if Dmitry can act a little less like he's relived this more times than Bill Murray and Groundhog Day, that would be great.
Ivanovic calls with his draw.
Well, he's not trying to blast Seidel out of the pot this time, at least.
Queen on the river, which means Ivanovic just has ace high.
Banana, banana.
Ivanovic checks.
Does Eric Seidel think he can get 3 streets of value with 2 pair?
Looks like it. That's $1 million.
And I guess going 3 streets is somewhat polarizing. Ace-8 would be beating some of Eric's bluffs, but not enough to call here, I don't think.
There's the hero call from Ivanovic. And Seidel tables 2 pair.
Eric Seidel is just chipping away at this kid. Is that 4-0 Seidel?
Ivanovic loses another huge pot, and Seidel has a monster chip lead over his opponent.
I think at this point they should just chop it and let the trophy decide who it wants to go home with.
Blinds are up again. 150,000, 300,000 with a 40,000 ante. We've reached that point in the tournament where it's getting a little shallow. We're going to sweat with Eric Seidel here, which means we're only going to see his hole cards.
Sweating with one of the best in the world. I love it.
Ivanovic completes.
Check.
Seidel's hand is Jack-4 of diamonds. He's checked his option.
I like a free flop with his hand, sure.
Only 1 diamond on the flop.
Yeah.
Seidel has checked. And Ivanovic checks behind. Oh, there's another diamond. Hello, flush draw.
Finally.
Here comes a bet from Ivanovic, 300,000.
Totally fine with a call here.
There is the call. The river card is a heart. Seidel with just jack high.
So now we just want a free showdown.
I don't think Seidel's going to get it. Ivanovic bets 525k.
Well, for me personally, this is an insta-fold. I just don't see how we're ever winning here. Yes, we know he tries to win every single pot, but we're losing to some of his bluffs even. But Eric Seidel, not me. He's a really good poker player, and it looks like he's thinking about heroing.
Heroing with jack high?
Eric Dell. Dmitry had a pretty passive line, then started betting turn and river. Eric might not think there's a lot of value in his range, and that there must be a lot of bluffs in there for him to even be thinking about this.
I still can't quite believe he is thinking about calling this. He's called with jack high.
Makes a call I wouldn't make.
And he's right.
And wins a pot I wouldn't win. In a tournament I would never be in.
Wow, behold the master at work.
That is 5-0 for the old-timer. Urbanovic is getting his lunch eaten, and he knows it.
Urbanovic on the ropes. Seidel closing in on victory.
Seidel's been close in a couple of super high rollers. He has definitely earned it.
They're still playing for the trophy and a difference in prize money of more than 500,000 euros.
That's a lot of dimp.
Urbanovic has King 9.
And fewer than 20 big blinds.
That's a call. Seidel in the big blind has pocket tens.
Doubtful Eric doesn't raise.
And there is the raise. 900,000. Ivanovic shoves.
I call.
And Seidel calls.
It's all in the middle, and it's not even a race.
Seidel a 72% favorite to win this super high roller.
Urbanovic ran pretty hot until this heads up. Maybe he'll catch now that he needs it.
No king on the flop.
Nie ma konia.
Urbanovic with 3 immediate outs. No king on the turn. Seidel almost across the finishing line, just has to fade 3 cards. The river is a 7, and that's it, it's over. Urbanovic is the runner-up, and Eric Seidel has finally won an EPT Super High Roller.
There's one king out there. Seidel be thy name. Finally, Eric. Finally.
Urbanovic cashes for just over 1.4 million euros. Eric Seidel wins more than 2 million. Still a great result for the Polish protege, who does go to #1 on his country's all-time money list. Meanwhile, Eric Seidel moves up to #3 on the global list after defeating this very talented lineup here in Monaco.
Eric, you've come really close a couple of times here in Super High Rollers. How does it feel to finally close one out, or have you just been here way too many times to have to be filled with joy?
It feels so good just to get the win. I've knocked on the door a few times here. It was a surprise to me because I was low in chips all day. But it was really, it really feels good. I would have been thrilled with second. So I'm happy with, obviously, much happier with first.